Week 1 of reviewing certifications, starting with the Google Cloud Professional Machine Learning Engineer certificate. I'm going to be talking about signing up and getting started, the first impression, and the surprises that I encountered. Let's dive in. Welcome back to my hut. This time I want to talk about the first week Google Cloud Professional Machine Learning Engineer. I'm going to be going through signing up process, getting started, the first impressions that I had of the materials and what surprised me. Signing up and getting started is very simple, very straightforward. Just visit the web page, log in with a Google account, create a Google account, and select what materials you want to view, and you can start reviewing the materials. This is the screen for the machine learning artificial intelligence that then actually ends in the certificate. What I also did is I sent a contact request to the supporting group inquiring about the process of transferring a certification from one email address to another. Google certifications are valid for 2 years, so they have an expiration date. But during 2 years, it is quite likely that somebody who earned a certification might be changing employers. So in case somebody actually got the certification under their work email, they possibly want to transfer it to a new work email or a personal email address to actually keep the certification. I couldn't find information how to do that on the web page, so I inquired and I got a personal response back within about 2 days. So that is an appropriate turnaround for an inquiry like this. It was not a canned response, copy-paste response. It was an actual response written in response to the email that I sent. So that was a positive experience. One thing that I could not yet find an answer to is what this notion of 25 credits with an icon that could resemble a bill is supposed to mean. So are you actually required to have 25 credits for cloud computing to actually complete the complete course, or are you earning 25 credits that you can use for something? I don't know yet. I have not spent a lot of time inquiring this. It would be nice to have this info actually right available here, what it actually means for people that are new to the platform, that are new to these kinds of materials. This would be a possible way to improve it, to make it a little bit more convenient. I guess I will find out sooner or later what it means. First impressions. This is literally the first screen that you come to when you're going into the actual materials, into the video materials. And what I found surprising is that when I'm going through the materials in March 2022, Google materials, educational materials, are talking about 2020 being a future state. So digging a little bit into it, these materials were put together 2018, 2019, so about 3-4 years ago. And what is a little bit surprising here is that these materials only look out about 2 years and are using these kinds of references for putting together educational materials. Usually educational materials are 3 to 4 years before you're revising them. So having this kind of a short time horizon in there is surprising. Lag, who is actually narrating these materials and also demonstrating later on, appears to be talking to something different or to a different text in the video. Visual movements and his gestures are not aligned with the audio. So it actually appears to be a disconnect there, which is just a little bit odd. It appears odd. Not that something is wrong with it, it just doesn't appear right, and it kind of sidetracks from the message on to what surprised me. So a couple videos into the first course materials, you actually can see this screen capture. I simply paused the video at the appropriate time. And what surprised me here is that for educational materials from a company like Google, Google has a reputation of being very diligent, very detail-oriented, and very standardized, and enforcing standards and making sure with rigorous review processes, most of them completely automated, that basic design principles are adhered to. There is a huge amount of materials available. What the standards are and the expectations are for code in Python from within Google. So being in these are educational materials, I would have expected that the standard here is actually even higher than the typical Google standard. So that is why this screenshot or this screen is so surprising for me. What you actually can see here is two different indentation levels in the same code file. So here Python code is indented with 2 white spaces. Down here indentation levels are 4 white spaces. I know that Google standard is 4. According to PEP 8 for Python, it can be either 2 or 4. But what it should not be, what it should never be, is a mix between the two. So seeing this in educational materials from Google is just so unexpected and surprising that it just completely baffles me that this can slip through. Just a little bit further down, in actually the same video, you see this screen. And what you see here, just in this screen capture, 3 warnings of depreciated functions being used. Why would you go about creating educational materials that you know are going to be at least 3 to 4 years until you revise them, and from the beginning, from your code base that you're basing your materials on, you are using functions that are depreciated, that are not going to be available, that are not very soon? And so why would you do that? It is completely baffling to me, and I don't understand why this is happening at a company like Google. So this tells me that the code that is actually being presented here is not being run through the Google internal channels of basic code review, and there has no peer review happened here. And to do this kind of a process, I'm not filling in the blank here, doing this kind of a process for a company like Google, trying to sell folks on the Google Cloud platform and displaying this kind of professionalism or lack thereof is absolutely, utterly astounding to me. That is all what I had for today, folks. Thanks you for visiting me at my hut, and catch you next time. I appreciate you dropping by. Please subscribe. I'm done here. Fire to that.